All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting bodybuilding stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, the Cali Pro, specifically Hassan Mustafa. So here's a sneak peek of how Hassan is looking ahead of the Cali Pro. This is courtesy of the Buys and Tries Instagram page. This is where I saw this post. So Hassan is definitely looking for a little redemption after his showing at the New York Pro this year. He still took top 3, which is nothing to be ashamed of, but he didn't look as good as a lot of people thought he was going to look at that show. Myself included, I was a little bit disappointed by the conditioning, but I still think Hassan, overall, he's a freak. He's a mass monster. He's got a ton of muscle, ton of density, and just really unreal size, especially in the lower body. So this update, you get a picture, a video, and then a training video. So you get a picture, a posing video, and a training video. And he's posing there, actually, with Shaun Roden. Free my boy Shaun Roden. I want to see Shaun compete this year. And also Flex Lewis, another guy I want to see compete at the Olympia this year. I'm curious to see, this is something I've been wondering about. This is just kind of a side note to the Hassan story. But I'm curious to see how Flex ends up qualifying for the 2021 Mr. Olympia. Keep in mind, he was going to go do the 2020 Olympia and Men's Open. He had a special invite to that Mr. Olympia last year. He had to pull out of that because of a shoulder injury, and as far as I know, he's planning on still competing in this Olympia. So again, just kind of a side note to the Hassan thing, I'm wondering how Flex intends on qualifying or if he's expecting a special invitation. He's probably the only guy this year that I would actually like to see get a special invitation to the Olympia. There is a rule where if you've won a Mr. Olympia title in the past, you're qualified for life. But typically that rule applies to the division that you won the title in the first place. So for example, if it were Phil Heath, he's qualified for life to compete in the Men's Open Mr. Olympia. But because Flex has won 7 in 212, I don't know how those crossover rules work, but I would assume he doesn't need to qualify for the Olympia. But anyway, I think it's going to be interesting to kind of watch and see how that develops over the next couple months. But back to Hassan. Honestly, if this posing video is recent, I think he looks about the same. I think he looks about the same as where he was, if not maybe a little bit off from where he was a week out from the New York show. So next weekend, the 29th, that is the Cali show, and that is what Hassan's getting ready for. Hassan wants that Olympia qualification. He has said in past Instagram posts that he will not stop until he does qualify for the Olympia this year. So if he doesn't win the Cali Pro, I expect we're going to see him continue to compete throughout the summer and throughout the season, trying to earn that Olympia qualification, because he said he will not stop until he gets that. So that's what I'm expecting from Hassan. I'm expecting him to put on a good show here. And again, we don't really know the full lineup. I think An Nguyen is doing this show as well, the Cali show. We know that Hassan is doing it. And we also know that Patrick Moore is doing the Cali show. So this is the first show, actually, that Patrick had won as a pro, and that's what qualified him for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. And Patrick actually posted a recent physique up today. He says, "None of this is a mirage. I've never peaked at a show. I'm feeling like next weekend will be different." So Patrick feels like this will be the show that he finally peaks at and nails it 100%. Now, I will say this. I'm a huge fan of Patrick. You guys know this. I'm a huge fan of his physique. I think he has tremendous potential. He's very aesthetic. My one critique right now of Patrick Moore, and I mean this with respect, I think at a week out, I would like to see Patrick looking a little bit sharper, the condition a little bit tighter. Now, I know that Patrick's goal is to come back bigger and fuller for this 2021 season. He wanted to put on size. I know that he felt at his last competition, couple of shows that he did, I think specifically the New York Pro, I know he felt that he was flat at those shows, and he definitely wants to come in fuller. So I'm assuming that's why he does look fuller in these updates and maybe not as tight with the conditioning. So I think that will play to an advantage. But what I'm curious to see here is hopefully his conditioning is still good. Hopefully he doesn't sacrifice good conditioning for the size that he added on. So that would just be my one thing. Looking at Patrick, again, this is a week out update. I would just like to see him a little bit tighter, and maybe over the next couple of days he will significantly tighten up. And again, I'm no guru, I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a bodybuilding fan. And I'm sure Patrick knows what he needs to do, and I'm sure what he's doing is trying to combat the flatness that he feels that he had at the last show. just in my mind, at a week out, I would just like to see Patrick looking sharper. And I guess we'll see on stage how sharp he actually looks in Cali. But that's what I'll be looking for from Patrick. Number one, the improved back. I'll be looking for that. I'll be looking for the areas that he has added size in this offseason. But I'm also going to be still looking for that conditioning. Conditioning is one of the big things that I liked about Patrick when he took top 10 at that 2019 Mr. Olympia. Conditioning is what really sealed the deal for me as a Patrick Moore fan. That, and of course, the vacuum pose was also another huge plus. But let me know what you guys think about how Patrick Moore is looking at about a week out from the Cali Pro. Now, next up in the news, a little bit of women's physique rivalry. The current Miss Physique Olympia champion, Sarah Villegas, recently posted a post on Instagram calling out the former Women's Physique Olympia champion, Shanique Grant, who retired after her placing at this year's Mr. Olympia. She called out Shanique, posting some side-by-side photos of her and Shanique from the Olympia, and she had this caption: "I'm all about competition and the real fitness beauty, who is Shanique Grant. You bring great competition to the stage. Let's give the fans something they really want. Here is what I have for you. You come back this year and face me at the 2021 Olympia, and if you win, I will give you $20,000 cash out of pocket. I'm willing to put the money in escrow right now with anyone that you choose. But if you lose, you give me your 2019 Olympia gold medal." Now that's high stakes right there. We're still 20 weeks out. You have plenty of time to get ready. Let's go. Turning negative into positive. Hashtag Olympia 2021. P.S. This is not meant to be negative, so please keep it classy, everyone. So this is pretty much referring to Shanique Grant wasn't happy with the decision in 2020, and I think that played a part in why she retired. She also wants to start a family and live a healthy life outside of competing, which I think is the best choice any competitor can make. To be honest with you guys, it's not a healthy lifestyle overall, and for someone to go out on top like Shanique did, I think that is the wise decision. Although I am a bit of a sucker for a good rivalry like this, so I can't help but want to see her come back just to answer this call. But I know she's not going to, and she responded in the comments below, and she says, "With all due respect, I have nothing more to prove to the Olympia. As much as I love competing, I'm focusing on getting my health back on top and creating a family, which majority of women's physique competitors miss out on. But I wish you the best of luck in 2021, and so on." That comment receiving 583 likes. So as much as we would probably all love to see Shanique come back, I think we got to respect her decision to focus on her health and starting a family, which I think is really the wise choice. As a guy that stayed natural my whole life myself, I can't help but like to see someone making that decision to step away from competing and start a family. So shout out to both Shanique Grant and Sarah Villegas. They're both very good women's physique champions. And thumbs up this video if you want to see me cover a little bit more of the women's division side of things, because I think there is some interesting stuff to be had when it comes to the women's divisions and possible content on the channel. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, we've also got a physique update from the current 212 Mr. Olympia champ, Shaun Clarida, posting a physique update now 20 weeks out from the 2021 Mr. Olympia, which is crazy that we're already this close to the next Olympia. It feels like the past Olympia in 2020 just got passed. Now we're 20 weeks out, and Shaun is preparing to defend his title. He says his current body weight is 203 pounds. It just goes to show you how crazy Shaun's physique really is, because he is such a shorter guy that he doesn't weigh a lot on stage. I think he weighed 180 pounds on stage. And he still won the 212 Olympia 30 pounds under the weight limit. And in the offseason at 203, he's still 10 pounds under the weight limit, looking very impressive. So I'm going to be excited to see what Shaun brings this year. Hopefully he brings some very similar conditioning to what he brought in 2020. That was just, he looked phenomenal. He looked so good in 2020. I don't know if anybody could beat him if he looks like he's in that shape again. Shaun is a beast, no doubt about it. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.